Hey, I'm Sheena Shuey. I'm a registered social worker and host of the 4Q podcast. I'm passionate about normalising, not pathologising life, and that's not easy. So each episode, I have amazing guests on to share the messy, beautiful ups and downs of life in 4 key questions with tips and tricks along the way. There are moments in life where you can embrace your story and understand that it's okay not to feel okay sometimes. So let's get into it. This is the 4Q podcast. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 4Q podcast. My name is Sheena Shuey, and of course, as usual, this podcast is sponsored by my 2 businesses, Savasana Collective, Holistic Psychology, Social Work and Coaching, and Therapist VA, where we help health professionals start and grow their private practice businesses. All right, so today's episode is around how I know where the best place is to start when it comes to anxiety, burnout, and relationship issues. Now, the best way to do this is to use a check-in tool, almost like you're auditing in a business, right? So if you had a monthly check-in, whether you're at a workplace or a business, you basically check in on where everything is at a given point in time. So you're sort of almost doing an audit of like, where are we at? What's going on currently? And so in business, this might look monthly like, what are our profits and losses? How many clients did we have through this month? How many cancellations did we have? What's the reported feedback? You know, you'd have several key areas that you would check in on every single month, every single week, just to see, okay, this area is really stable, but this area needs work. This area is not stable, you know, that kind of thing. And then really digging in a bit deeper of going, okay, for 3 months in a row, our clients haven't been stable. So then you'll dig a bit deeper to go, okay, what's the problem here? We've had this issue for 3 months in a row. Why is this occurring? So the way that you can do this for your mental health and your well-being is using the check-in tool that we often use and that we use with all of our clients who work at Savasana, which is the biopsychosocial spiritual model. Now that sounds like a big fancy word, but basically we are checking in on 4 key areas. Your biological state, which includes eating, sleeping, exercise, any sort of medical issues that could be affecting you. So biological, psychological is more around your mindset, your thoughts, your mental health, your personal experiences in the last, whenever you're doing this, whether it's weekly, monthly, however often you check in, but really getting clear about psychologically in your mind, in your mindset, how has that area been for you? How have your negative core beliefs been? Have you been feeling very insecure lately? How's your mood been? All of that stuff. Then we also have the social area. And so this is around your relationships, your parenting, your workplace, all the sort of social relationships that you have within your family, all of those things, friendships. How is everything going at the moment? Because that really has a massive impact on how we feel. We are relational creatures, so we are wired to care what people think. So just a side note, when people say, oh, just don't care what they think, we're biologically wired to, so we do. But what's important is remembering to really get clear on whose opinions matter and who do you actually listen to. That kind of thing, catching yourself when you're getting caught up in other people's opinions. So it's both a mindset and a social thing there. But really getting clear on socially, how is my workplace going? Do I feel like they're pushing me too hard? Do I feel supported? Are they driving my burnout? Is that the area that I feel most anxious about? So really getting clear on those three areas first, so biological, psychological, and then social. And then the final area is spiritual. This can also be cultural. There's a few different ways to label this area, but spiritual, cultural area is around your connection with something bigger. So that is connection with your core values. How do you measure what a good life looks like? How do you measure your moral compass? Do you guide yourself with your core values and say, am I in alignment with my core values? Am I not? Do I even have a moral compass? Am I connected to rituals or spiritual sort of things? So do you believe in the law of attraction? Do you believe in signs? Do you have a religious practice? Do you have somewhere that you can go to connect with other people in a more spiritual and meaningful way, thinking about the big picture, about life? What does that look like? Are you connected to your cultural heritage? So sometimes feeling connected to ancestors or connecting to your culture through food, through dance, through music can really give us a deeper meaning because we feel connected to something bigger than us. So just keeping that in mind, that this area sometimes can get confused with purely just how connected you are religiously or spiritually or whatever, but it's about meaning. How do you create meaning in life? And are you connected to your bigger picture and your bigger vision? So we could have all the other areas sorted. We could be biologically okay, eating, sleeping, doing all the things well. Psychologically, we might feel like we're in a good mindset and our mood's been quite stable. We could be socially quite active with our friends and family. But if we don't have a way to make meaning of that, so if something negative does happen, how do you make sense of it? Why do these things happen? Why do not so great things happen in life sometimes? If you don't have a bigger picture way to make sense of that, that's really going to affect you. So this is why the analogy I say is that it's like 4 legs to the table. So if just one of these areas is falling short, so one of the legs of a 4-leg table is short, the whole table's going to be off balance. So again, you could feel very spiritually connected. You could feel like, again, biologically you're doing all the right things, and socially you've got a good support network. But if there's still some unhealed trauma, some negative core beliefs affecting your psychological state, you're going to be off balance. So how do I do this check-in? How do I actually check in a way so I know where to start working around anxiety, burnout, and relationships? Because these areas are going to inform what's driving that anxiety, burnout, and relationship issues for you. And again, just clarifying, relationship issues are relationship with self, relationship with a partner, parenting, friends, family issues, whatever that might be, but relationships in your life. So the best way to do this is just to take a moment and so we have a check-in tool that we give our clients, and it's available in our free resource library for both yourself and for relationships. We have 2 tools, but it's literally just asking yourself, out of 10, how would I rate each area? So biological, psychological, social, and spiritual or cultural. How would I rate each area out of 10 at the moment? Where am I at right now? So 10 being perfect. Everything's going well. I'm reaching all of my goals. I'm consistent with it. That area is perfect compared to 1 where it's horrific. I'm not even engaging in it. It's nothing. I'm, poorest of poor. So ask yourself, where are you in each area in a rating of 1 out of 10? So you might go, biologically, I'm 6 out of 10. Psychologically, I felt 5 out of 10 because my mood's not been so great. Socially, maybe you'll put that at 7 out of 10 because you still have been seeing friends, you feel supported, but maybe work isn't great, so that's why it's not a 10 out of 10. And then spiritually, you might go, again, 5 out of 10. You know, you have some ideas of your beliefs and your key grounding systems, but you haven't actually been engaging in those practices or connecting in it or stopping to pause and take life in. So again, you rate all those areas, and then in this example, the two areas that got the lowest rating were psychological and spiritual. So for this person, they rated those areas 5 out of 10. And that will give you an indication of where to start. So you rate each of the areas and then start doing something about the area you've rated the lowest. So if the area you rated the lowest was biological, you know, maybe it's a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10. What's one practice, one thing you can start to do in that area, because that is going to be a grounding thing, a big thing of your overall anxiety, burnout, and relationship issues. It's going to be a factor there. So if it's biological, can I increase my hydration? Because when we're dehydrated, we're not thinking straight because our brains are 80% water and they need water to think straight. You know, can I make sure I'm getting a daily walk in? Can I eat a bit better? Can I cut back on my alcohol consumption? All of that stuff. If it's psychological, what am I doing to improve my mood? How am I catching my thoughts? Am I meditating? Am I even aware of what's driving this? And this is really a big place of where therapy can come really, really handy, or having a business coach, having business support, talking to people can be really helpful for the psychological area. Then you've also got the social area. If that's really low, what's going on in my workplace? Or is there a big relationship issue? Am I not happy in my marriage right now? Am I finding parenting extremely difficult? Maybe there's some postnatal things there, or maybe I'm just not bonded with my children at the moment. I'm finding parenting hard. Really getting clear on what's driving that, and seeing if there's one thing that you could be better boundaried with when it comes to your parenting, when it comes to your relationship, when it comes to your workplace. What's one thing you can do to alleviate something there? Or start conversations, the difficult conversations with the people in those places of it's not working for me, whether it's the marriage, whether it's the workplace. Really start digging deep and having those conversations. And again, having a therapist to support you through this journey can feel like you've got someone holding you at the back, like supporting you through this. And then again, spiritually, culturally, that's the area that you've rated the lowest, because you're not stopping to engage in making meaning in spiritual practice and being present in the moment with yourself, with your kids, with your family, with life, right? If you're not stopping to be grateful and practice gratitude, what's one little ritual that you can start to insert, or what's one moment through the day where you can stop and have a gratefulness practice? Journal something, really practice gratefulness and journaling. Can I go to a women's circle? Whatever your practice might be. Can I go back to church? Whatever your religion is, your spiritual practice, your way of making meaning. Can I go to a cultural heritage event? Whatever it is, try to think of, again, one area, one activity that you can do if that's the area that you've rated the lowest. So I hope that that's been really helpful for you and clear around if you're feeling overwhelmed of where do I start to work on my mental health? Where is my well-being? I've got so many issues, so many areas. I just don't know where to start. Doing an audit, doing a check-in, rating each area 1 out of 10, and then picking the area that you've rated the lowest and asking yourself an activity or something you can change in that area, however big or small, is a great way to start. And that's generally what I would be doing with you, is starting in that area when we work together, unless you feel like there's something pressing that you really, really want to work on in another area. So I'm going to pop the link to the check-in tool, or our free resource library where the check-in tool lives, in the show notes. But again, if this was helpful to you, if you had any questions or any feedback at all, we'd love to always hear from you. And again, if you love our episodes and you're learning more about yourself and really taking away some golden nuggets to think about in life, and it's making some changes, leaving a positive Google review either on our business websites or our podcast makes such a big difference. It really is meaningful, and we always love genuine reviews from people. So if that's something that you feel you'd want to give back to, we would absolutely love to hear from you. All right, have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Thank you for taking the time to invest in yourself by listening to this podcast, and I will see you next episode of the 4Q podcast. Bye for now.